How's it going, everyone? We switched up the footage or the video method yet again. We're back to an iPhone, but a better one. So hopefully that works out. Today we have a couple of watches sent in for review. These are some pre-order type watches that are being made by the micro brand MMI. These are it's a watch company in Singapore. Obviously, probably a Chinese-made watch, but they seem like some interesting watches, so I happily accepted the offer to get them sent in. Obviously, I'm not being compensated in any way for this stuff, but just wanted to give them a little bit of a look-see, and obviously I'm not the type to pull any punches, so we'll see how it goes. Quick wrist check here. Let me get us configured for that, but I just got this watch in. This is the Oak and Oscar Olmsted matte. Let's see if I can, here we go. It's a pretty killer watch, but we'll get more into that here shortly. So to these watches, these are two different watches that are basically the same shell with a different dial. At least they are wildly different dials. They're not just two different colors, but they are. One is the silver one is called the Quick Silver, and the other one is called Midnight Blue. The blue one is TR2-DV. The other one is TR3-DV. But basically the same basic case. So we'll talk about the specs. I'll use this one because this is the one I like better. We'll punch in here real quick. So you can see a 40 millimeter case. That is without the crown. It's pretty chunky. I'd say up to like almost 45 if you include the crown. 47 millimeter lug to lug, so on the end for me that I like, but still wearable. They're pretty angular lugs a la Samurai, so but they are very slab-sided, and since this has an NH35 movement in it, as expected, it has a whopping big 13.8 millimeter thickness, but it is a 300 millimeter diver, so if you don't mind thickness, that's not a big deal. You can see this is also a touring review model, so you'll have to forgive the shmoo and things that accumulate, but they got all the key specs on here: 300 meter water resist, NH35 sapphire crystal, 316L. This is obviously number 001 because it's the prototype. We'll talk about the bracelet later, but you can see here they have quick release bracelet, which is kind of nice. But so the specs on everything are the same except for the dial configuration and the lume. So this one has a more conventional lume, the white dial, and it's actually a fully lume dial. We'll talk about that more. And this is a obviously faux aged lume. I don't know. Yeah, they do talk about, yeah. So that is Super Luminova C1 grade. We'll talk about that. I have my doubts as to the quality of the lume based on my wear, but nice enough watches. The hands you can see are kind of crudely made. Let me see if I can get way in here. Let's see how close we can focus. You can see they're kind of just quickly punched, nothing phenomenal. The bezels look like ceramic. They are not ceramic. They are basically PVD over steel, ion plated steel. So nothing. It's a nice look. They're not the most legible. They kind of look like a Seamaster ceramic, that super glossy ceramic. So not the most legible, but they are fully lumed, which is nice, at least in the quality of lume that we have to work with here. The fun part to me is this dial right here, because it has one of those punch through date displays. So you can see the little red at the 30. If I pop out to the first position, and go the correct way, you can see it moves. So that is how the date change works. And it's not like that's an incredibly high-end feature, but it is nice. I will say, far and away, the best feature to this watch to me is the crown. The crown is phenomenally smooth and seats easily. It's nice and firm. The clicks are good. The no date one here does have a phantom date. I would expect that at this price point, maybe. I mean, it's not hard to get the NH version that is no date, but it is what it is. So that's a little bit of a shame. But on this date one, which is the one I like anyway, you know, we're talking some potentially really fun little like X Factor watch to me. Let me zoom back out. So a fun little X Factor watch to me. The bracelet is fine. It's this almost like a hybrid H-link bracelet with a pseudo separate link here. It basically is an H-link bracelet, but they're kind of made to look more like a different, slightly different look with the kind of machining part of the link away. Over here you can see that and it might actually be a pin separate link, but you can see it's kind of meant to look like almost like a hybrid between H and an oyster. But very comfortable. Even though I don't love thick watches, this is a super comfortable watch to wear. The lume, it's not dark out yet, but let me see if I can get some lume shots going on here. There we go. I mean, so you can kind of see, let me cut my hand here. So you got green and then a blue background. It's pretty terrible. This one's even worse. Honestly, not that exciting. I don't really care. To me, this kind of micro brand watch is more of a fashion piece than anything. Like, it's a perfectly good and durable watch. You could probably use it pretty hard, but to me, this is more of a fashion type watch. Like, you wear it, you get it because you like the way it looks and you're not necessarily super concerned about absolute specs, and that's perfectly awesome. Nothing wrong with that at all. I just thought about the class because I saw it, so let me mention it. It's kind of a Seiko style, so fold over with a pusher, but it is machined on the inside, and micro adjust with no dive extension, so perfectly okay, you know, par for the course. This pre-order price is let's see, let me do the math real quick. It was, I believe, $316, sorry, $316. So that's fine. To me, the SKX is probably still a better deal for my uses, but I mean, for $316, you can't really go wrong with a watch like this. They say they're going to go up by another, let's see, it's all in Singaporean dollars, so bear with me for 1 second. I should have done this math ahead of time, but it is what it is. It's going to go up to about $400 supposedly once they're released. So, you know, that may or may not be, and that is what it is, but that's something to bear in mind. But yeah, they're perfectly decent little watches. Again, I wouldn't buy one, but if you like the way this looks and you kind of want to tinker with a fully lume dial, or you want to tinker with this cool punch out date, hey, what the heck, right? Like, it's a fun watch to add to the collection. It ticks a few different boxes that you may or may not have. There's a bunch of other colorways too. You know, some variety in the options that you have available. If you like this blue, I mean, the blue in the sunlight, let's see if I can get to catch the light. I mean, really pretty blue. It's really kind of showy. It's like a very slight shade darker than like a Blumo, or not Blumo, Bluesy, the Rolex Blue Dial from the Submariner. Really nice look. Obviously the AR here, you can tell, is pretty useless. Let's see if we can compare it to a more well-established micro brand. So here's the Olmsted matte. You can see neither is really legible, but this one is completely washed out, and this one they're you know, resolving a little bit of that away. Neither is amazing, but both are single-sided ARs. You're never going to get truly good AR single-sided. That's just the way it is. It's how physics works. If you really want to mask those reflections and refractions, you're going to need double-sided AR. So that is what it is. But yeah, I think that's all I got to say about these watches. You know, you can head to MMI's website if you want to pre-order them. Again, thanks for sending them by. I think this is a solid first effort in a budget offering. Again, not for me, but that's just because of my style preferences and because, you know, that's not really the stage of the hobby that I'm in. I'm more into, you know, some slightly higher end stuff, but If I was getting a first watch and I didn't really want to get a Seiko diver, which I don't really want to right now, you know, for a purely, you know, cool looking watch, if I like the way this watch looks, I mean, it's got a Seiko movement, it'll beat no problem. And the quick release bracelet's fun, makes it easier and kind of forgives the no hole side case. So yeah, check them out if you're interested, and otherwise have a great day.